Hey y'all, I am VictorE. I will provide insight to empower. And today I wanted to get more into the spiritual, metaphysical side of what I do. And part of what I do is to combat and neutralize witchcraft or sorcery or things like that. And a big part of what helps one, let's start with it, differentiate what is good or bad type of works, is the intention, right? Is this going to harm someone? Is this going to create stress in someone's life in a very negative way? Is this going to lead to the person feeling shame or guilt or self-hatred? Regret is a big one. Or is this more of like a protection thing, helping one be one with the universe, this unified verse, the song that's resonating and radiating and vibrating across reality or realities. So a big part of what goes into, let's say, like a spell or a work of witchcraft, it's kind of how we refer to it, is not just, so we started with intention. Now what is the emotion? And let's just put this into concrete examples. One of the biggest ones and most comical ones, I would say, is Target, like the chain store, the big box stores, Target. And this is something that I felt, and then in talking with other people, they've also commented on how they feel the same thing of you go in for one thing, you come out with five. And what's going on there, tuning into subtle energies, what's going on there is a kind of agitation. There's a small, it's almost for me, it's a lot like tinnitus, like the ringing in the ear. Usually you can't hear it. It's too subtle to hear. But when you get into a quiet moment, you can kind of hear the ringing. The parallel that I'm drawing here is how when you go into Target, there's a subtle energy at play. Target wants you to buy things. Any business wants you to buy things, but the way they've coordinated the colors, constructed the aisles, they've made it as easy as possible. And with color psychology, color energies, same thing. They've created a sense of urgency and openness to follow down that route, that path of buying shit, especially buying shit you don't need. Going for one thing, come out with five. Putting that example to the side for a second, when I got out of the Marines in 2012, I was getting a lot of tickets because I was in a very negative state. Years later, I found out, there were there was a lot of karma for sure, but also being exacerbated and being exploited, exploitation being a big thing there, especially in the West and capitalism. It's kind of driven on exploitation. There were a lot of works or spells working against me. So one of the things that came to mind that I was guided to was to put an Afghanistan service sticker, to show that I've served in Afghanistan, on my back window there, the rear window. That it would kind of act as a protection spell on my part. And sure enough, as soon as I put it up, not only did I stop getting pulled over, I also just felt like driving better, not going as fast, not driving as aggressively. I was becoming more aware of when I was, and if I decided to give into that aggression or feelings from the service of kind of being a human weapon, that's when I the light would flash for the speed traps or I would run a red light or something. It was my guides being like, okay, like if you want to give into that feeling, go for it. But there are those consequences to it. We're trying to raise your vibe here. We're trying to help you. And if you're not going to accept that help, well then, you reap what you sow. So these are just two examples of like how magic kind of works, right? You can use it for protection, or you can use it to manipulate people into buying things. I mean, like that's essentially what marketing is. If you've ever heard somebody like a marketing expert talk about what they do or their intention in creating a commercial, it's to access usually something like nostalgia, but more often than not, like a feeling, right? Like car commercials really come to mind of like, they're trying to sell you a car, but the commercial is all about like safety and a family and maybe even luxury. They're creating a feeling, maybe not just or not necessarily that you don't have enough or that you're not enough unless you buy this car. It's more of like creating a positive feeling to attract you or to create agitation, really, but a desire to purchase this vehicle. Because in purchasing the vehicle, you're also buying into the energy associated with that commercial, or what the marketeers are trying to convey. And so this is at scale, kind of like the macro of how what one calls marketing, another calls like putting a spell on a person. If you are susceptible to that spell, then you're going to fall for it. So in creating and expanding our awareness, like our awareness of like, this is the intention behind the message or behind the act, well then I have now more power because of my awareness, my light. I now have more deciding power of where I want to go, who I want to be, what I want to decide for myself. And then also there is like, I've also experienced like people who, just got my laptop, who do cast like more spells, or like I've been to art shows and like art bazaars where people create candles with the intention of like XYZ, like attracting love or money or protection or whatever. And again, it's all about the buy-in. Are you buying into the feeling? Are you buying into the belief? And it's all about belief, because belief, what underlies belief is your vibration. And so if I buy into the belief that this candle is going to protect me, well then I'm going to vibrate in such a way that I feel protected. And in my school and in my practice, it's all about your vibration. What helps me heal others is whether or not they allow me to, is whether or not they allow themselves to raise their own vibration, become aware of their patterns and cycles, and decide to choose better for themselves. So the whole magic thing is like, do you buy into, or like, on the one hand, it is like that buy-in factor, and on the other hand, there are just very subtle energies at play that can cause agitation in others. So if like, I don't know, I can't, like, somebody is like an experienced and has practiced like kind of focusing their intention and vibration, those subtle energies ripple out across the vibrational field and can influence and affect others. Yeah. Coming up on 10 minutes here, so I'll leave it there and make more videos on this. If you want to protect yourself, just like, it helps, you can like write an affirmation of like, I am protected. I had to do this the other day because there's this like Satanist type person in my class, and it has nothing to do with like Satanism or Christianity or anything like that. It's more about like the underlying belief and like the archetypal energies and forces that they're activating within themselves and the energy that they radiate outward. So just like I felt guided to my friend just kicked the door open. I felt guided to like write out "I am protected" on my notebook. So writing something out helps amplify that energy and create a stronger momentum of energy. And so in doing so, we're lengthening out that train of thought and I don't want to say solidifying, but kind of more cementing that energy so that we're acting on that energy rather than being kind of passive in the game. I gotta go. I gotta eat my lunch and then get back to class. So yeah, just drop any questions in the comments below about anything that you'd like me to cover on this subject. I'm sure protection is going to be a big thing. There's like a symbol that I can share. That's like what my logo is based on. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Peace. Love you guys. Bye.